Welcome to One Man's Tracks, the secondhand music channel, to another edition of talking about a band whose members' recent output has me digging into their past. In this case, it's Jeff Barrow with the latest and greatest Beak release, as well as the touching Beth Gibbons Lives Outgrown LP that struck me in such a way that I couldn't keep this video on the back burner any longer. So it's time to make the jump from Porter Robinson to Portishead, port to port, from one era-defining, genre-blending classic to another. Portishead formed in the early 90s when Beth and Jeff met at an unemployment program for people to receive governmental assistance getting a business started. DJ Jeff producing and Beth singing would eventually lead to a chance meeting with multi-instrumentalist Adrian Utley, with whom they'd score and star in a wordless noir crime thriller that's just a short one called To Kill a Dead Man. From that, they'd clip together a single to shop around to labels, as well as happenstancely gathering an iconic piece of cover art in the process. Signing with Go Discs and starting to work on that debut in '93, together with sound engineer Dave McDonald, session drummer Clive Deemer, and an assorted cast of guest musicians, the band would assemble an impeccable, timeless album whose detoxifying sonic palette eases the weary souls that it graces. Released in August of 1994 through Go Beat and London Recordings, it's Portishead's Dummy. What a gorgeous reflection on the very human struggle that is the longing and the pain of love. It's simultaneously classic and contemporary sounding. This band's enchantingly cinematic performances capture that ephemeral emotion through a patient, melancholic blending of generations of influences, from soulful jazz, psychedelic lounge, to gritty hip-hop, and even touches of rule-breaking art punk attitudes. An anxious, tumultuous gospel hop soundtrack, telling it like it is, and learning the hard way, maybe the only way, how to navigate these difficult relationships and heartaches that life throws our direction. Ever unafraid to point out the elephant in the room and attempt to reveal the ineffable truths that lie behind our actions. They set their special tone with the eerie opener Mysterons, whose cruisy backbeat establishes this album's simply captivating vibes, then further exploring those unsaid desires with that mind-bending To Kill a Dead Man spaghetti western song, Sour Times. After which, Stranger's plodding, grimy sample sinks into introspection, seeking perspective, rediscovering an individuality, and ridding itself of external expectations, and leading us to the revelation that love and honesty are at times very difficult two-way streets. On the track It Could Be Sweet, the band's most massive, attacky song, maybe a bit still rubbing off on Jeff during his time as a tea and tape boy for them during those Blue Lines days, but in either case, it's just a little bit flatter than the rest of the songs, as lovely as they all still are. I guess it does end up help to give Wandering Star an even grander feeling arc. Such a touching, heartbroken piece. I love the drums, the scratching, slicing right through and teasing out so much extra emotion. It's just such a brilliantly moving cut about depression and loneliness. The light begins shining in with It's a Fire's hesitantly hopeful organs, a sort of culmination of our journey so far. Embrace who you are, feel free from judgment, and take this nourishing spark as a reminder that it's perfectly alright to simply be. The effective scratching returns with the aptly titled Numb, whose heartbeat drum line underlies the subtle instrumental and is a reminder that the road to fulfillment is overwhelming. The feelings of being adrift and lost in the boundlessness of possibility, with roads then further emphasizing the lonesome, tribulous, internal human struggle that is a battle to find the path to a greater destiny. A superbly stirring song with cinematic strings and Beth's vocals being as piercing as ever, even amidst the hints of confusion and sorrow that she expresses. It bleeds right on into the following jazz-hoppy pedestal, a sort of lost love, once more adrift, meandering in a delicate purgatorial haze. It can feel a bit directionless, yet it still remains captivating throughout. Biscuit drifts along similarly, but seems more so to be about an insatiable lust for love. It's quite intimate, stripped back with a wonky, affected horn sample, and helplessly wallows in its own desire before the empowered, self-assured finale glory box suavely swaggers in to find a harmonious understanding and settle into a deservedly confident new reality. Accept and embrace your autonomy. Learn to love yourself so you can in turn be loved, and be honest and don't let societal pressures hide your truth. Tremendous lessons. What a huge statement told in very concise and clean fashion. It's a wonderfully insightful collection of soul-satisfying moody tunes. I'd be a dummy if I didn't keep going and listen to their devastatingly effective sophomore album, the self-titled Portishead they put out in '97. Oh, contemplative geniuses. They changed it up a bit. They made it hard on themselves, but man, another masterpiece. They play songs from both this and that album on the live orchestrally accompanied one they actually recorded before the release of Portishead, but even still, just bangers, and it took a bit of time off after that to put out one last reflective, emotional journey. It's their April 2008 release of Third. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot else music-wise to report on Portishead as of spring 2025. They've released a couple of cool covers here and there and never officially broke up, and so they have played some shows, even a benefit show in this decade, so they're not totally broken apart, and it's not impossible that we'll get more material, but I'm not holding my breath. It seems to be they're just in separate creative spaces, with Adrian always got his hands in some kind of project. That Stoneface thing was cool, and Jeff working on soundtracks, working on the cool Quaker stuff. I really dig that stuff, and he just announced he's leaving Beak, but he's still touring with them on this last tour, so get into it. And you got Beth last year gracing us with her beautiful, mysterious self, so I'm not really asking for any more than that. Thank you very much. Whatever it may be, these folks have stuck steadfastly to their creative spirits and continue to artfully express themselves to the benefit of us all. Phenomenally talented artists who together can create this genre-defying sonic experience that is just unmatched. And they've continued to do just that for 3 decades now. I'd love to know your memories, thoughts on, and favorite dummy moments down in the comments. Were you one of the lucky few who got to see them live? I want to hear about it. Is there any other groups outside of that Trip-Hoppy Bristol sound label that these guys got lumped into that I ought to check out? Please let me know. I've talked about Morchiba, I've gone into DJ Shadow, and I did a pretty poor job talking about Blue Lines back when I started this channel. You can check them out somewhere around here, down in the description. Thank you for watching this far. If you can still hear me, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more throwback, retrospective, random thrift shop albums. I love ya. I'll see you next time. Take care.